Computer, sure. Okay, we're recording. Smile. Okay. 2 more weeks left. What? That flew by. How are you all feeling?
Like a new person.
A whole new person.
Yeah.
I love it. Seemed like this week went pretty well, yeah?
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool, cool.
I think the holidays are a pain in the ass, but yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I agree. All
Wait,
right.
Stacy, it says Andrew when you talk.
Oh, yeah. I'm Andrew right now so that I have all the features.
That's so great.
So you can address me by Andrew if you want, or if you feel more comfortable with Stacy, that's okay too.
All right. So let's see. Let's get started with the demos. Who wants to go first?
We can go. Mindy.
Yeah, we didn't talk about who was doing what though.
We ran out of time, but I do have to say that because we were trying to merge my latest branch to master, that it's not going to let me access my code, I don't think, until I solve the merge conflicts. So if you can share, that'd be great.
Cool.
Those pesky old merge conflicts.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Do you want to talk about the main code and then I could show, or should I show the demo first? Sorry, guys, we didn't.
Yeah, we should
That's fine.
do the demo first.
We didn't either, so we'll be the same way in like 5 minutes.
No, we are very professional. We figured it all out.
Okay. Actually, I was gonna do. Let's see. Let's join the week 6 test.
It's a good one.
Good for you. Oh, look how pretty this is.
Yeah, so what we did is we basically just added, and we still have some CSS to mess with, but we figured we have plenty of time to do that. But we basically just added this little view more option. So you hover over the item and then this little button pops up. And then you can click on it and see more details. So last purchase, next purchase, planned, and then the number of purchases.
Cool. What's that like when you like tab around for accessibility?
Well, the accessibility thing passed. I haven't actually like done a tab around thing though.
Cool.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was RAC.
Oh, it's to tab
Don't
around.
worry about that.
Oh,
For sure.
yeah, it was difficult to be honest.
I always like, it always kind of creeps up in my mind when something that's kind of hidden becomes unhidden when you hover. I feel like it's a good point to kind of be like, oh, could I get to this
Oh, yeah.
if I couldn't hover? Like if you're on a phone or something, you can't hover.
Oh.
That is such a good point.
Well,
Anyway.
I also didn't do any media queries for styling or anything yet, really. So
That's
I
okay.
don't know. Yeah.
Just something to think
It
about.
is.
Cool.
It is looking
just
fine though.
give
We've
you the
got lots
option
of.
to, like, if you click on it, it pops up on
Oh,
iPhone.
cool.
There we go. Ethan Brains was the
Talk of the last call.
yeah.
No, the next purchase is today, so I'm in trouble.
You're gonna turn into a real zombie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's that.
Cool.
Great work.
Claudia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what did we do here?
In a couple days.
Yeah, it has. So let's see. We added the item details. Are we in item? Yeah, so we added this item details component here. That basically is what shows up when you click on that little 3 arrow button. And it just fetches some data from the database. And then it just renders it as a list, and that's it.
Cool.
Yeah, and then we had the we added it as a link to the LI, which was we moved it just now during our
List
call.
contents. Yeah.
Contents. So this is where we just added a simple link. It was really what was all that was needed there. Oh, we could talk also about the router thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's using parameters, which is not something we've seen here yet. It's something
Nice.
done before, but this little colon says that it could be a variable, or it will be a variable number or letter or sequence of, I guess it's a string, a variable string. And we get that string from the, trying to remember everything is now. From the list contents here, that item ID is our string that we're adding in there. So that way we can reference it here for each different list item. And then we can reference it in the actual item details. We use a thing called use params, which is straight from, I think it's a newer thing actually, but it comes from React Router DOM. Pretty handy there.
Is that another
Yeah.
way of passing down information?
Yeah, it's taking it from the parameters of the URL and using that. So that way you can use that particular variable then in a different spot. So we use it down here to find the actual item that's listed in the URL parameters.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great work.
Cool.
Want us to go?
Sounds good to me. Let me see if I can find where my stop share button is. There it is.
Michelle, is it cool if I read the AC and show how it looks, and then you describe the code a bit?
Sure.
All right. I will start sharing. And we are no longer on our branch, we're on master, right?
Yeah. Did you pull it down?
Uh-uh.
Yeah. Cool.
I wasn't sure if, because I couldn't be awake for the merge.
No, we
Wasn't
got
sure
her
if it was
going.
Yeah, nice. So RAC for the week involved grouping items. Basically, as a user, I want to view a list of the shopping items in order of how soon I am likely to need to buy each of them again. So some sort of visual representation of whether it's something you're not going to need for a long time or something you have to get tomorrow. Specifically, items in the list are shown grouped in the following order: soon, kind of soon, not soon, and inactive. Within each grouping, the item should be sorted by the estimated number of days until next purchase. Then the ones that have the exact same number of estimated days until next purchase should be sorted alphabetically. And then the items in the different states should be visually distinct. And also, if visually isn't going to help, if you're using a screen reader, then they still need to be distinct. And what it looks like is Squib Nazi Creed is not very helpful. So let's try week 6 test.
That's how you change it? I've never seen someone do that.
That is a way of doing it.
That's so great.
I don't know if it's a smart way of doing it or a good way of doing it.
That's
It
the
is
way. Yeah.
technically a way.
I've never seen that. I just always delete my token.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. I think that's
Yeah.
smart.
Well, I like that Claudia thinks it's smart. Now I'm starting to think maybe it wasn't. Whatever. We'll press on. So we've got 4 different categories. They've got a little color coding. I really like that they have this jump to the side kind of reaction now that the branches are merged. As far as color scheme goes, I picked, I think, 3 colors that another website said were based on the colors from that color scheme, but expanded the one we were working with. So now we have like 7 colors or something. And just did a little bit of delete token, add button list, kind of reshaped everything for now. So that's what it looks like. And Michelle can tell you how it works.
Did you check those color contrast ratios? Like the red and the black particularly stand out to me for accessibility.
No, absolutely did not. And that makes a lot of sense because now that you mention it, I was particularly trying for muted colors, and muted colors are not necessarily going to be accessibility friendly. I did the
Could be hard to say.
yeah, could be. We did the both messed around with trying to use a screen reader this week, and I forgot about the other
That's awesome.
extension we've been using the whole time.
There's like, which tool is it, Alejandro, that you showed me where it just shows it right there? Like, is that on Chrome's DevTools that'll show you the contrast ratio? Like
Yeah,
right
it's
inside
in
it?
Chrome.
Okay.
Ooh.
So somewhere in Chrome,
Chrome and Firefox. Yeah.
Okay, I'll look that up.
and you don't have to be like, whenever I was trying to do it last time, okay, I need a color picker extension for Chrome. I'm going to pick those colors, going to run them through a website. Like, it was so dramatic.
It was very.
Alejandro showed me it's
Sounds
right
professional,
here. I was like, oh God. Now I know.
Okay, so I'll talk about the code. So what we first did was we were trying to figure out the best way to filter all the 4 different categories we have. And we realized right away for the first ones with very soon, not very soon, soon, and not soon, we could just go use the filter method within the Firestore collection and use number of days, because that is that's how we're calculating the next estimated purchase date. So we used that for the first 3. But within the Firestore collection, so we create a new component called sorted lists for all the 4 different categories. And within the sorted list, Alejandro actually recommended that we create another component there as well, because there was roughly 40 lines of code that was being repeated. So Ethan created that. So this was actually all the same code as before that was in there. There was just going to be 4 chunks of it. So we make it its own component and then had to add the link that the other team did within there. But we could only use this list content for the first 3, as the bottom one was a little bit more complicated. Here we are. Actually, yeah. So unfortunately, we couldn't use the filter method for this one because it wasn't just directly using the number of days. So we created, where is that? Here we are. We just filtered out, we kind of actually, truth be told, I was looking at the code of the other teams on how they did some of their calculations with like the last purchase date and whatnot. So the AC for this one for inactive it was so hard for me to wrap my brain around this. It was if the estimated next purchase had elapsed but was twice over the elapsed. So if it was supposed to be, if the estimated next purchase was 14 days, but it was 28 days past that. Does that make sense to y'all?
It does not to me, which is good to know, because I feel like if it's this confusing, there's room for improving that story so that it's a little less.
Yeah, well, we
like,
had Andrew clarify a little bit because we were like,
okay, he might have already updated it then, but I'm still gonna make a note.
It's kind of it's weird. I don't know exactly the best way to frame it. But basically trying to think about this, say that the last day that you purchased an item was November 1st, and the next time you're supposed to purchase it was 14 days after that. If it was November 28th or past, that means it had double elapsed and now it was inactive.
Okay, so if you had to buy an item in 7 days, then 14 days would be inactive.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So our item number of days times 2 becomes our double estimate. And then like I said, this is kind of actually straight from the other team's information, or the other team's code. Thank you guys. I promise I typed it out. I didn't copy paste. But so this is how we calculated if it had been if it had gone over, and we just filtered through the array of items. And if it had elapsed times 2, then you returned it. And that's that. Oh, and then Ethan created these little guys right here.
Yeah.
Ethan, do you want to talk about those?
Which I think has been successful. If you're tabbing around the app, the ARIA labels are supposed to read out loud so that you can use them as an alternative to color or other visual cues for your navigation. So each one of the items in the list will say whether it is inactive or supposed to be bought soon or whatever. And right now they're very formal. It says like soon item, kind of soon item. Probably thinking of maybe it should even be a phrase. That's kind of something we can improve on. Like maybe it should say this is an item to buy soon. I'm not sure.
Okay, that's us. Questions, comments, concerns?
Great job here.
Thanks.
Anything else before we jump into retros?
Not from me.
Alejandro? Algo
I'm good.
más? Okay,
No.
then let's do it. All right, so retros, I put the link in Slack. I'm going to drop the link right here in chat as well. Yep, there it is. Okay, make sure I'm sending you something appropriate. Okay, so I'm not going to screen share until we like go over them, because last time I was like, people are watching me type and it's weird. So we'll take 10 minutes, come back at 5:27 to write out everything that we think and want to retro about. If you're done before that time, just post in the chat done. And if we all finish early, we'll go on with our lives. Okay, ready, set, go. Don't forget to like append them with your initials or something.
Nice.
Oh, you know what I didn't think? We could just write all of our stuff in one card. If you want to do that, feel free. Instead of doing like a bunch of cards.
Too late.
That's wild.
It's a good idea though.
Yeah.
I got you, Stacey. Andrew.
1 minute. No pressure. Claudia, how you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I'm done.
Done?
I forgot.
That's everyone. No problem. Okay, cool. Let me share my screen so anybody watching the recording, Andrew, can see what we're talking about. Share. I don't know what happened to my trackpad, but it's not working anymore. That's a problem. Okay. All right. I posted the lineup in chat, and I can't see my chat now. Who knows the lineup?
Michelle.
All right, Michelle.
Okay, I shall start. I was appreciative as always for Ethan, my partner this week. He was super flexible with scheduling. He was being patient while I thought out loud with a lot of my processes, and he figured out the ARIA stuff, which I had no idea. So, thank you. The group, for all of us working together to get the merge done, I felt like we were very cohesively thinking about everything. Then, as always, the mentors and Andrew for helping us clarify parts of the AC and helping us do the PR.
Nice.
All right.
Claudia's next.
I'm next, and I am all over the place.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll start from the bottom, I guess. So Alejandro, for dropping so many great tips when you do your reviews. Like, it's not just about things that you want fixed, but more like, you know, in the future, like you could do this way to be a better developer. So thank you. And to Stacy for having quick replies on Slack, and also for just checking in and always cheering us on, and yeah, just good energies.
Here we go.
And then Mindy for just, I don't know, for kind of speeding up the process because she already knows so much. So helping us figure out this week's AC with all of her knowledge.
I love it. Ethan.
Okay. I said I have appreciation for all the team members, specifically Claudia last week doing a lot of the work to figure out the logic of what we were going to do, and Michelle this week kind of the logic and also just like what tools to use she figured out. And then Mindy, because both weeks my team ended up looking a lot at code that Mindy was working on. So thank you, Mindy, very much.
Superstar.
Yeah. All the coaches, kind of the same thing. It was already said, still a constant stream of advice and feedback, taking turns answering questions. So like one of you will answer if the other person isn't around or whatever, and getting to PRs quickly. Appreciate all that a lot. I also said Baby Yoda, which in retrospect isn't relevant, but I like The Mandalorian and Baby Yoda very much. And oh, right. Thank you guys for merging today. Whenever I was able to work on the code a little last night, but then I was asleep all day while you guys were putting in the work of merging it together, and I appreciate that.
Love
Even more than I appreciate Baby Yoda.
it. Mindy.
Yeah. Yeah. So
There you are.
yeah. So Claudia for working on the idea that we had of doing the adding the items as unpurchased from the beginning. Like that was awesome. Just to step up and get that done was great. And then also Ethan, Michelle. I feel like I forgot your E on your name, Michelle. I feel like this week's AC was pretty hefty for you. So just well done. Like way to get all of that done. I felt like it was a lot and a lot of different pieces to it. So it was cool to see. And then Alejandro for some awesome code reviews. I know that you've already been shouted out about that, but I feel like I haven't actually caught up with everything yet, and I want to. I'm looking forward to like clicking on a couple of those links and seeing what you said. Like there's so much information and it's so great. It takes a lot of time. I know.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then Alejandro, and then Stacy.
Yes. Thank you.
Can you scroll up, Stacy, please?
I sure can.
There you go. So thanks, Stacy and Andrew, for all the help while I was away this week and last week. Last week I was kind of busy because of my day job. And this week I've been like taking care of some personal business. So thanks for being there and for answering all your questions. Yeah, that's great. That's teamwork. And also, I'm really grateful because you have so much energy and you keep the ball rolling all the time. Like, I feel that you are enjoying the process, and that makes me enjoy the process as well. So thanks for all the good energy and good vibes. That's awesome.
Seriously, I second that. You guys have so much energy for still having 2 weeks left. It's amazing. Okay, Stacy, that's me. Alejandro and Andrew for being totally on top of code reviews. Super review ninjas. Alejandro, they're beautiful, and I learned so much from reading them. So thank you for sharing such a wealth of information. I appreciate you all working as a team and collaborating on these things, like these really like hairy merge conflicts and issues that you can't just get past. Like the teamwork here shines through so much. You guys take so much initiative to get together as like a full team. And I think that's really inspiring and something you should be really proud of. Also really proud of you all for sending up PRs that are like outside of the weekly issues. I think there were like 2 this week that were just like extra things that you guys had talked about fixing and wanted to take care of. And I was like, that is going above and beyond and is really cool. So great job for being so ambitious and amazing. Okay,
I second
with
that. Yeah.
Let's do what went well, starting with Michelle.
Okay.
If I can find you. There we go.
Yep. I felt like this week that both of the teams, we were like vibing each other's ACs and like kind of thinking about the whole project, the project as a whole really well. I don't know, for me, I guess maybe I felt that more than other weeks. Ethan and I had to do some coding this week on our own just because of our schedules, and then we'd have to push each other and submit to each other. And I felt like we did a very good job of communicating what we were pushing up and like what we still needed help with and what was still missing, even down to our PR. So I felt that I did really well. And then obviously the great feedback on our PR from the whole thing. Claudia, you caught like a detail that we overlooked about like how it should have been, like what was supposed to be inclusive, and just it worked really well.
Good.
So good. Claudia.
Let's see, where am I? So making each other's schedules work, even if we have to code at weird times. So Mindy and I got together at 9 p.m. every time we coded, which is not that weird, but to me it's weird. But it was great. Being able to make decisions as a team for how we want the app to work. I love that. And just being, for myself, just being more comfortable reviewing the other team's codes and making the team's code and making suggestions, and kind of pushing past the what's that called, the syndrome, imposter syndrome. Yes.
Ethan.
Alrighty.
There you go.
First off, most importantly, Alejandro, where'd the cat go? That cat was awesome. Who is that cat? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, she's African.
Oh, amazing. Friendly.
Dancing cat.
Yeah. Well, I love that cat. Let's see. My 3 items that went particularly well included filling out the wiki pages better, because I think like the last retrospective, I think one of the things we said was that none of us were paying as much attention to that anymore, and we wanted to keep filling them out, making them look nice and have all the information and resources that we used. And I think we both did. All of us did a good job of it for the last 2 weeks. I think that coding together went well. I think in the last 2 weeks we did, like, I and my teammate ended up doing extra calls, and the whole team or everyone who was available would come together to merge or whatever. And I think that's really good and working really well. And I guess this is almost more like another appreciation, but just everyone working around the holidays. Like, this would be a prime time for things to not go well, but everyone's making it work. And I guess the holidays are actually really going to affect us for the next couple of weeks and even more, but it's been working so far, so I think it'll continue to work well.
That's awesome. Mindy.
Yeah, so we've been more consistent in doing our separate PRs for the different side issues, which has been good. Like I've glad for that. And then I feel like, so I kind of missed out on it. I was busy with a friend's wedding, but I felt like there were a bunch of bugs, and it was cool to see the 3 of you, Claudia, Ethan, and Michelle, like working on trying to fix this bug on this person's thing, and what do we need to do here, and how does this change? Like, it was kind of neat just to watch that from afar, even though I couldn't really chime in, but that was good. And then just feel like we've gotten a little bit better with our communication on GitHub and Slack. Like, I feel like I understand, or I don't have the times of like, wait, you did what now? Where? Those moments are fewer. Like, I think we're doing a better job of just saying, this is what I did, and this is where I did it, and how I changed it, and why I changed it. Like, I think that communication has just gotten a lot better quality, which is cool to see. So
I love that. Okay, Ale, where are you? There we go.
There you go. Yeah, so I'm really happy to see that you are improving so much in your PR descriptions. Like, yeah, that is a good start when you find a job. So if you have a good PR description, that will make things way easier for everyone. So awesome, keep doing that. Also, I see that you participated more in the code review process. You are not afraid of saying or asking things. So that's great. And it is completely normal that you didn't participate as much in the beginning. So it's good to see that that you are confident now, more confident than the first week. So awesome. And also, you are writing tests and really good code. I'm really impressed. Yeah, great work.
Agree with all of that. I have 2 things. One, so happy to see you all focusing more on accessibility. That's really cool. That's like some next level stuff. And I'm hoping like that this experience at Collab Lab kind of opens your eyes to accessibility in general, so that you can all go out into the world and make it more accessible for everybody. So keep doing that amazing work. And I think that you've all been doing such an amazing job reviewing other people's code. Like, I've seen, kind of like Ale was just saying, so much improvement here from you all. Like, from the first weeks where it was just kind of like, looks good. Now it's like tons of questions and explanations and insight. And it's like, it's really healthy and it looks beautiful and amazing. So wonderful job. Okay, with that, let's move on to what prevented us from making progress and what can we do better in the next sprint, starting with Michelle.
Cool. So this is also personally, like, I'm still struggling with using the screen reader. I couldn't get in our screen reader because that was one of our ACs for us. Not to take it away, but like accessibility was actually something that we were supposed to do. And I couldn't ever get tabbed into like the actual lists with using my screen reader. But then Alejandro like showed a video that he did it fine. And I was like, I have no idea how he did that. So that was still frustrating for me. But that's kind of more personally. Alejandro, I'm also still confused by one of your PR comments about the else statement. I don't know if that ever got cleared up, but I was like very confused. I was like, oh, I didn't know if I was looking at the same one that you were looking at. So I got a little confused by that. And then the description for the inactive category on RAC was a little confusing. As I talked about during our demo, I would suggest giving an actual example with dates and whatnot for that one, if you're going to keep the same type of requirements for the inactive part. That's it.
I love it. That's really good feedback. Claudia.
Yes.
There.
Yeah, I only have 2. I thought that we could have spoken as a team to figure out the UI before we, each team got like, started doing their own code, and then at the end we merge everything because a lot of the interface changed. And I think that maybe we could do decisions like that together, possibly. I don't know. And then for Mindy and I think that maybe we could have, for our team, we could have thought about accessibility as at the forefront. Yeah, because I was just trying to make it look cool. Yeah.
Those are great. Ethan.
Okay. I said, this is like a something that could maybe be better for the whole project approach. Just have some sort of overview of the tools we're going to use and approaches we're going to use, like to study up on before each week. The reason I say that is because I feel like at least the last 3 weeks, as some of the complexity has been sort of ramping up, even if I was going over general React stuff, each week the solution is that there's something very specific that if my teammate hadn't known about it, I would have been kind of doing like something that was way off target. So like this week, Michelle knew that we could use Firestore, that it had a sort and filter properties, and that we could use that instead of trying to write a whole bunch of conditionals of some sort. Yeah, so at least for me, if there's some sort of, I don't know, maybe more clues or just stuff to hone in on to study, that would stop me from going really in the wrong direction. And then more something that us as team members could improve is just still trying to get merged sooner. I think, that's been a running issue just because we're always putting in a lot of time on them. But if we can get them merged sooner, that would be great. That's all I had, just 2.
Great. Thank you for all of that. Mindy.
Yeah. I actually had a thought about the merge time because we end up kind of struggling to get all this stuff done. I was thinking about like for future cohorts, like maybe a Monday would be better because that way people would have time on the weekends to kind of do stuff together and get things figured out. Although not everybody has the same weekends, so I don't know. It was just a thought that I had. I was like, I wonder if it would be better to do that. Like looking
Fair
back.
thought.
But yeah, that's everybody's different schedules. Anyway, I think that we could definitely do some more work with accessibility, and I'm looking forward to working on that. I think that's something that we could do better. So there's that. And then being able to, I think there's trying to figure out when something has been fully approved, whether it's with like the other pair or whether it's mentors. Like, I feel like there's just kind of some vagueness with that. where like if we use the approved and request changes thing a little bit more consistently, like sometimes we are and sometimes we're not. And then like, you know, asking like, do we need to invite the mentors, all of you, for the review, or do just like a couple of you? Like, do we need to bug all of you with it? Do we need to wait for everybody? Is it just one person, like one of the mentors that we need approval? Like, I think maybe doing some clarity and like agree as a group, like what those kind of things look like might be a good idea.
Love that. Perfect. Alejandro, where are you?
There you go. All right, so to second what you said, I think we don't have more time, but I wish we had more time. So like all the PRs happens around Thursday to Saturday, and even Sunday. And it's difficult to review all of that, like very like in a detailed way. So at least for me, it's difficult. I mean, there is nothing we can do about it, but anyways, I wanted to say that. Also, I feel that sometimes testing slows you down. So we've been talking about that with Stacy today in another channel. So we need to find a way to balance what we test, so you don't spend like a lot of time and, you know, waste time testing stuff that is not needed. Maybe, I don't know. We need to talk about that with Andrew as well. And also, I will be more explicit on my PRs about what needs to be changed and what not. So I feel that I leave a lot of comments, and sometimes I say like, we need to change this, but sometimes I just don't say anything. So you don't know if that is required for the PR to be merged. So I will be more explicit about it. Yep.
Cool.
That's all I have.
Agree with all of those. Okay. I second the whole testing thing. Like Alejandro said, that's something we've been talking about. We are going to find a way to improve like what should be tested, or just the expectations around testing for future cohorts. So if you have time this week and you want to drop us some comments in Slack about like what you feel what has gone well for testing, what was really confusing, what took the most time, that could be really helpful in us kind of refining how we approach this going forward. But testing, am I right? Anyway, and I'd also like to, I think Mindy was talking about this, get a solid process down for future cohorts about like when PRs are ready for mentor review. Like, you know, there's like processes in GitHub and then maybe processes in Slack. And I think if we can really like narrow that down and come up with like a solid process, we can all be in the loop and be on the same page about when things are ready and when they're not, and just like add some clarity there. So I think for now, if we can just make sure that just tag all the mentors in Slack whenever it's ready to go, I think that'll just be a good band-aid until we come up with like some beautiful process that's foolproof and nothing can slip through the cracks. Am I right? Anyway, okay. Any like final thoughts on retros? We'll do like what we have done the past couple weeks, since we're already over time, where we can continue talking about it in Slack and really kind of pin down specific things we're going to change for the next and final 2 weeks of this cohort. But does anybody have any last thoughts on anything?
I just had one thing I wanted to say, because I was thinking about it because of what Alejandro just said. There might have been a time or two where you made a comment in GitHub and it was open-ended, and you know, I didn't know if I had to do it, if it was a blocking thing. But also there's just another side where sometimes you actually say, this isn't blocking, you know, you don't have to worry about this. But just because it's a good idea, it's kind of hard for me to just say, well, I'm going to ignore it because I don't have time, you know? Like, so that's more just like a team culture kind of thing of trying to decide, well, do I have to make a tough decision? I know I don't have time, so I'm going to ignore this good advice this time. Yeah. So sometimes it's not you being vague.
Like, so much of the time it's like, yeah, it doesn't take that long. Like a lot of the comments are more just like, oh yeah, I can make that fix. Let me just do it quick. But sometimes it's hard to tell, even if it is going to be a quick thing too. But I like having just the like improved in this particular way. It's
Yeah.
really
Yeah. If you ever like come across those situations and you're like, I can't do it right now, but I'm really interested in doing that, you can create like new cards on our issues board so that you can come back like in the next week if you have time, or if you want to keep working on this project when the cohort's done, like if you get really into accessibility and you're like, I'm going to like go improve the crap out of that app and it's going to be amazingly accessible. Like this is your app. You can do with it what you will. And if you have those cards in place, then it'll kind of give you some more direction when you have time.
Nice. Cool.
Okay, well, on that note, then let's crush this next to last week of Collab Lab and enjoy the holidays if you celebrate Christmas. And we'll be around in Slack, okay?
Okay.
Great.
Sound good? All right, bye everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Now I'm figuring out how to do the recording. Okay, let's see, stop it.